The lighter flicked 3 times before it caught. Jiho held the flame to the corner of the donation ledger, watching paper curl and blacken. Around him, the small church in Gangnam smelled like old hymnals and furniture polish. In 60 seconds, it would smell like gasoline and ash. He dropped the burning page onto the carpet runner. Fire spread fast, hungry, eating toward the wooden pews. He walked out the side door, pulling his hood up. Behind him, smoke began to pour from the eaves. Across the street, hidden in the shadow of a closed cafe, Zahari watched the church burn. She didn't move, didn't blink, just stood there with her phone vibrating in her coat pocket. Donors, partners, pastors who thought their money was building orphanages in Uganda. They'd realize soon enough. The accounts were already frozen. Her charity network, 3 years of careful construction, was collapsing in real time. The flames reflected in her dark eyes. She felt nothing. Not panic, not grief, just the cold recognition that someone had outplayed her. Her phone buzzed again. She pulled it out, a text from an unknown number. "You should run." She deleted it and turned away from the fire. If you're watching this for the first time, do yourself and us a favor and hit that subscribe button right now. Because what you just saw, that's only the beginning. This story spirals into obsession, manipulation, and a psychological war between 2 people who can't escape each other even when they try. You're going to want notifications on for this one. Trust me, you'll regret missing what happens next. Subscribe now and drop a comment telling me if you think she should have run when she had the chance. 3 days earlier, Zahari had been untouchable. She sat in a hotel conference room in Itaewon, smiling at a table of middle-aged donors. Her accent, smooth, American-educated, made them feel cosmopolitan. Her pitch was flawless. $50,000 would fund a girls' school in Nairobi, tax-deductible, transparent. She had photos, testimonials, even a video of children waving at the camera. None of it was real. The school existed, barely. The money went through 3 shell companies, got cleaned, and resurfaced in accounts she controlled. Some of it funded actual charity work, just enough to keep the story believable. The rest disappeared into investments, bribes, and her own carefully curated lifestyle. She'd been doing this for 3 years. Churches were the easiest targets. They wanted to believe. They needed to believe their money mattered. She closed the deal with a handshake and a promise to send quarterly updates. Outside, her phone rang. Her associate Minyu sounded nervous. "We have a problem." "Tell me." "Someone's asking questions about the Busan account. A pastor noticed discrepancies." Zahari leaned against the hotel wall, thinking. Offer him a board position. Give him access to the fake financials. Make him feel important. What if he doesn't take it? Then we close that account and move the funds. We've done this before. She hung up. Problems were just puzzles. She was good at puzzles. What she didn't know was that someone had been watching her for 6 months, studying her patterns, mapping her network, waiting for the right moment to dismantle everything she'd built. The night of the fire, Zahari didn't go home. She checked into a small guest house in Hongdae, paid cash, used a fake name. She spent the night scrolling through news alerts and watching her network implode. By morning, 4 accounts were frozen. 2 partners had gone silent. Minyu wasn't answering his phone. She tried calling her main contact at the church, Pastor Lim, a man who'd helped her access donor lists and convinced his congregation to give generously. The call went straight to voicemail. She tried 3 more contacts, same result. By noon, she understood. She'd been cut off, isolated. Someone had burned the church to send a message, and now everyone associated with her was running scared. Her phone buzzed, another unknown number. Still in Seoul. She stared at the text. Whoever this was knew where she'd been, maybe still knew where she was. She grabbed her bag and left the guest house. For 2 days, she moved. Different neighborhoods, different guest houses, always paying cash. She slept in a PC bang one night, curled up in a private booth with the door locked. She wasn't used to this, running, hiding, looking over her shoulder. Pride kept her moving. She refused to leave the country, refused to admit defeat. On the 3rd day, she made a decision. She was going to find the man who burned her network, and she was going to make him regret it. It took her 4 days to track him down. She started with the church. The fire had been deliberate, professional, someone with resources. She bribed a low-level gang member in Gangnam, paid him 500,000 won for a name. Jiho Sung. The name meant nothing to her, but the description did. Mid-30s, controlled territory in Gangnam and Itaewon, known as the strategist because he didn't make moves without 3 backup plans. Tattoos of black ravens across his torso. Ran a clean operation on the surface, owned a chain of hostess bars and a few legitimate restaurants. Underneath, he laundered money for half the syndicates in Seoul. And apparently, he didn't like competition. Zahari spent 2 more days learning his routine. He lived in a penthouse in Cheongdam-dong, but he also kept a safe house in Seongsudong, an industrial neighborhood full of warehouses and art studios. He used it for meetings, private meetings. She broke in on a Tuesday night. The safe house was a renovated loft, 3rd floor, accessed by an exterior staircase. She picked the lock in under a minute, slipped inside, and closed the door quietly behind her. The space was minimalist. Concrete floors, leather furniture, a glass table. No personal items, no clutter. She moved toward the desk in the corner, looking for anything, documents, a laptop, something she could use as leverage. "You're 3 minutes late." She spun around. He was sitting in the corner in shadow, legs crossed. Calm. He stood slowly, stepping into the light. Jiho Sung looked exactly like the description. Tall, broad-shouldered, muscular build. Sharp features, dark eyes that watched her with no particular emotion. He wore a black t-shirt that showed the edge of a tattoo curling up his neck, raven wings, black ink against pale skin. He wasn't surprised. He'd been waiting for her. "You burn my church," she said. "Your church," he smiled slightly. "You don't believe in God." "Neither do you." "True." He walked closer, hands in his pockets, relaxed. "But I don't pretend to." She didn't move. "Why?" "You were using religious networks to launder money. That's my territory. I don't share." "You could have called." "I don't negotiate with people I don't know." "So you burn everything I built instead." He stopped a few feet away, studying her. "You're angry, that's good. Means you're not broken yet." "Who says I'm breakable?" "Everyone is." He tilted his head. "You ran fake charities for 3 years. You manipulated pastors, donors, old women who thought they were saving orphans. You're smart, ruthless, but you made one mistake." "What's that?" "You thought no one was watching." Her jaw tightened. "What do you want?" "I want you to understand something." He stepped closer, close enough that she could see the ink on his collarbone, a raven mid-flight, wings spread. "You don't control anything anymore. Your accounts are frozen. Your partners are gone. Your name is on a blacklist. You have no money, no network, no protection." "I don't need protection." "You will," he said it simply, like a fact. "There are 3 groups looking for you right now. One of them is the H-Wang Syndicate. They want your donor lists. They think you have access to wealthy foreigners. If they find you, they'll take what they want and dispose of the rest." She swallowed. "And you?" "I'm offering you a different option." "Which is?" "Work for me." She laughed, bitter. "You destroy everything I have, and now you want me to work for you." "Yes." "Why would I do that?" "Because you're good at what you do, and because you have no other moves left." She stared at him. He wasn't wrong. She'd been running on fumes for days. No money, no contacts, no way out. "What would I do?" "What you're good at, laundering. I need someone who understands international networks, donor psychology, how to move money without flags. You'll rebuild what you lost, under my structure." "And if I say no?" "Then you keep running." He said it without malice, just fact. "You'll last maybe 2 more weeks, then someone finds you." She wanted to spit in his face, walk out, prove she didn't need him. But pride wasn't going to keep her alive. "I need to think about it," she said. "You have 3 seconds." "That's not enough time." "It is." He watched her calm. "You already know the answer. You're just deciding if you hate me more than you want to survive." She hated that he was right. She hated that he'd outplayed her so completely. She hated the way he looked at her, like she was already his. "No," she said. His expression didn't change. "All right." He stepped aside, gestured to the door. "Leave." She didn't move. "That's it. You made your choice." She walked toward the door, pulse pounding. Her hand touched the knob. Then she stopped. Something about the way he'd said it, so calm, so unbothered, made her skin crawl. He wasn't angry. He wasn't insulted. He was letting her go because he knew she'd be back. She turned. "You think I'll come crawling back?" "I don't think I know." "You're wrong." "Maybe." He sat down on the arm of the couch, casual. "But if I'm right, don't wait too long. The H-Wang syndicate moves fast." She left. She lasted 6 days. On the 7th day, 2 men cornered her in a subway station in Sindoram. They were polite at first, asked her to come with them, said their boss wanted to talk. She ran. They caught her in a stairwell, pulled her into a maintenance room. One of them held her against the wall while the other made a phone call. "We have her." Her heart slammed against her ribs. She fought, kicked, screamed. No one came. The station was too loud, too crowded. No one cared. The man on the phone nodded. Understood. He hung up and looked at her. "Our boss wants your donor lists. Give us access and this stays simple." "I don't have access anymore." "Then we have a problem." The other man pulled a knife. She stopped breathing. Then the door burst open. Jiho walked in like he owned the place. Behind him, 2 of his men. He looked at the H-Wang members, calm. "Let her go." The man with the knife didn't move. "This isn't your business, Sung." "It is now." "She's not under your protection." "She is." The H-Wang members looked at each other, then at Jiho. He didn't draw a weapon, didn't need to. His reputation did the work. They released her. She stumbled forward, gasping. Jiho didn't look at her. He kept his eyes on the H-Wang members. "Tell your boss if he touches her again, I'll burn down every property he owns in Gangnam. Clear." They left without a word. Jiho finally looked at her. "You all right?" She nodded, barely. "Come on." He led her out of the station, into a black car waiting at the curb. She got in without arguing. They drove in silence for 10 minutes. She stared out the window, trying to slow her breathing. "Thank you," she said finally. "Don't thank me. You'll pay for it." She looked at him. "How?" "You'll work for me. No more negotiations. No more running. You're in." She wanted to argue, but she was exhausted, terrified, and he'd just saved her life. "Okay." "Say it clearly." She turned to face him. "I'll work for you." "Good," he leaned back. "We start tomorrow." Comment below if you think she made the right choice. I need to know what you're thinking. The next 3 weeks were brutal. Jiho didn't ease her into the work. He threw her into the deep end and watched her struggle. He introduced her to his operation, a network of hostess bars, restaurants, and shell companies that moved money for 6 syndicates. Her job was to rebuild the international donor pipelines she'd used before, but cleaner, tighter, no mistakes. He put her in a small apartment in Seongsudong, 2 floors below the safe house. She had a laptop, a burner phone, and a list of contacts to re-establish. She worked 16-hour days. Every few days, Jiho checked her progress. He didn't micromanage. He just asked questions. Sharp, specific questions that made it clear he'd already reviewed her work. "Why did you route this through Singapore?" "Because the account flags less in Asia than Europe." "Wrong. Singapore has stronger anti-laundering protocols than Hong Kong. Reroute it." She rerouted it. He never yelled, never threatened, just corrected her calmly and moved on. It was worse than anger. Anger she could fight. This quiet control left no room for resistance. One night, she made a mistake. She transferred funds through an account that had been flagged by Korean authorities. The transfer went through, but it left a trail. Jiho called her to the safe house at midnight. She climbed the stairs, exhausted, already knowing she'd fucked up. He was standing by the window, arms crossed. You used the Incheon account. I thought it was clean. It's not. It's been flagged for 3 months. I didn't know. You should have. He turned to face her. You're smarter than this. I'm tired. Then sleep less. She glared at him. I'm working 16 hours a day. 17 tomorrow. That's not fair. Fair. He stepped closer, voice still calm. You think this is about fair? You made a mistake that could have cost me $2 million. If I were anyone else, you'd be in a river right now. She swallowed. What do you want from me? Perfection, or close to it. I'm not perfect. Then learn. He stepped back. Fix the transfer, reroute it through Malaysia, have it done by morning. That's 8 hours of work. Then you'd better start now. She wanted to scream, wanted to throw the laptop at his head. But she didn't. She went back to her apartment and fixed the transfer. By dawn, it was done. Jiho didn't thank her, just sent a single text. Better. 4 weeks in, something shifted. Zahari stopped fighting him. Not because she wanted to, but because fighting took energy she didn't have. And because, slowly, she started to see the brilliance in how he operated. Jiho didn't just launder money, he controlled it. He knew which accounts to touch, which to avoid, which syndicates to work with, which to refuse. He had systems within systems, backups for every plan, exit strategies for every deal. She'd thought she was smart. Watching him work, she realized she'd been playing checkers while he played chess. One night, he called her to the safe house to review a new pipeline. She explained the route, funds from Japan, through Thailand, into Korean real estate. He listened, nodded. Good, use it. She blinked. That's it, no corrections. It's clean. I don't fix what isn't broken. She felt something unfamiliar. Relief, maybe even pride. Thank you. He glanced at her. For what? For not tearing it apart. He almost smiled. You're learning. She looked away, uncomfortable. She didn't want his approval to matter, but it did. Can I ask you something? She said. Go ahead. Why did you really burn the church? He leaned back, considering. You were using religious networks. That creates attention. Attention brings investigators. Investigators threaten everyone. So you burned it to protect your operation? Yes. Not to punish me. No, he looked at her directly. You weren't important enough to punish. It should have stung. Instead, it clarified something. He hadn't destroyed her out of cruelty. He'd done it because she was a liability. That was worse, and somehow easier to accept. Do you regret it? She asked. No. Not even a little. He was quiet for a moment. Then, I don't regret things. Regret is useless. That's cold. It's practical. She studied him. Do you feel anything? He didn't answer right away. When he did, his voice was flat. Anger, boredom, control, that's about it. That's it. Most of the time. What about now? He looked at her, and for the first time she saw something flicker in his eyes. Not warmth, but interest. Now, he said, I feel curious. About what? About why you're still here. You forced me to be here. I gave you an option. You chose this. I chose survival. Maybe, he stood, walked closer. Or maybe you like it. Like what? Not being in control. Her breath caught. I hate it. Then why haven't you tried to leave? She didn't have an answer. He leaned in, close enough that she could see the raven tattoo curling up the side of his neck. You're good at lying to donors. Don't lie to yourself. He walked past her, left the room. She stood there, pulse racing, hatting that he was right. 2 months in, Jiho started giving her more autonomy. She rebuilt a donor network in Southeast Asia. Wealthy expats, NGOs, private investors, clean money rooted through legitimate businesses. No flags, no attention. It was the best work she'd ever done. Jiho reviewed it and nodded. This is good. Just good. Excellent. She smiled despite herself. That night, he took her to dinner. Not a business dinner, just dinner. They sat in a quiet restaurant in Qingdamdong, private room, no one watching. She picked at her food, nervous. This felt different, personal. Why did you bring me here? She asked. You've been working hard. You deserve a break. You don't do things without a reason. True, he poured her wine. I wanted to see if you could relax. I can relax. Prove it. She took a sip of wine, tried to slow her racing thoughts. Can I ask you something? She said. You already did, but go ahead. Why do you do this? Do what? All of it. The laundering, the control, the networks. What's the point? He was quiet for a moment. I like puzzles. People are puzzles. Money is a puzzle. I solve them. That's it. That's enough. Don't you want anything else? Like what? I don't know. Love, family, something real. He smiled slightly, humorless. Love is a chemical reaction. Family is obligation. Neither of those interest me. That's sad. It's honest. She looked at him, really looked at him. He was attractive. She'd noticed that from the start. But there was something missing, something hollow. Do you ever feel anything real? She asked. He met her gaze. Sometimes. When? When I'm angry, or when I'm bored, those feel real. What about now? He studied her. Now I feel something I don't usually feel. What? Protective. Her heart skipped. Why? She asked. I don't know yet. They finished dinner in silence. When he drove her home, he walked her to her door. Thank you, she said. For what? For tonight, for not making it about work. He nodded. Then, unexpectedly, he reached out and brushed a strand of hair from her face. The touch was brief, gentle, gone before she could react. Good night, Zahari. He left. She stood there, pulse pounding, wondering what the hell just happened. 3 months in, everything changed. A rival syndicate, the H. Wang Group, attacked one of Jiho's operations. They hit a hostess bar in Gangnam, roughed up the staff, and stole client records. Jiho's response was swift. He called a meeting. Zahari was there, along with 4 of his senior members. They want a war, Jiho said calmly. We'll give them one. What's the plan? One of the men asked. Jiho looked at Zahari. You're going to set a trap. Her eyes widened. Me. You know how to manipulate wealthy donors. The H. Wang Syndicate is looking for international connections. You're going to offer them exactly that. How? You're going to leak information that you're meeting with a foreign investor. High-value target, private location. They'll send someone to intercept. And then we intercept them. She swallowed. What if they figure it out? They won't. You're convincing. What if I'm not? He looked at her directly. You will be, because I need you to be. It wasn't a compliment. It was a command. She set the trap. She leaked information through a contact she knew was connected to the H. Wang Syndicate. A meeting at a warehouse in Seoul. A foreign investor with ties to European banks. High value, private. The H. Wang Syndicate took the bait. On the night of the meeting, Zahari waited in the warehouse. She wore a wire. Jiho and his men were positioned outside, watching. 2 H. Wang members arrived. Young, confident, armed. You're Zahari, one of them asked. Yes. Where's the investor? Running late. He'll be here in 10 minutes. They waited. She made small talk, kept them comfortable. Then Jiho and his men moved in. It was over in seconds. The H. Wang members were disarmed, restrained, dragged outside. Jiho walked past her calm. Good work. She followed him outside. The H. Wang members were on their knees, hands behind their backs. Jiho stood in front of them. Tell your boss if he touches my operations again, I'll dismantle his entire network. Understood. One of them spat at his feet. Jiho didn't flinch. He pulled a gun, aimed it at the man's leg, and fired. The man screamed. Zahari flinched. Jiho holstered the gun. Understood. The other man nodded frantically. Good, get out. They dragged the wounded man away. Jiho turned to Zahari. She was pale, shaking. You all right? You shot him. He disrespected me. He spit at you. Same thing. She stared at him. You didn't have to do that. Yes, I did. He stepped closer. This is who I am. If you can't handle it, say so now. She wanted to say she couldn't, wanted to walk away. But she didn't. I can handle it, she said. He studied her, then nodded. Good. He walked away. She stood there, pulse racing, wondering if she'd just made a terrible mistake. That night, she couldn't sleep. She kept seeing the man's face, the gunshot, the blood. At 2 a.m., she went to the safe house. Jiho was awake, sitting by the window, drinking whiskey. Can't sleep, he asked. No. Because of what I did. Yes. He poured her a glass, handed it to her. Sit. She sat. You think I'm a monster, he said. I think you're dangerous. I am. Does that bother you? No. She looked at him. Why not? Because I don't lie to myself about what I am. Most people do. They tell themselves they're good, moral, justified. I don't need that. So you just accept it. Yes. She took a sip of whiskey. I used to think I was good. I told myself the charity fraud was victimless, that I was just playing a game. And now? Now I know I was lying. He nodded. That's progress. Is it? Yes, because now you can decide who you actually want to be. She looked at him. And who do you think I am? He leaned forward, eyes locked on hers. Someone who wants to survive, someone who's smarter than she thinks, someone who's drawn to danger even when she knows better. That sounds like a weakness. It's not, it's honesty. She held his gaze. What do you want from me? I want you to stay. Why? Because you're useful, and because I like having you here. Her breath caught. Like. Yes. That's not something you usually feel. No, it's not. She didn't know what to say. He reached out, touched her hand, briefly, then pulled back. Get some sleep, he said. She stood, walked to the door. Then she stopped. Jiho. Yes. I don't want to leave. He looked at her. Then don't. She left. 4 months in, the H-Wang syndicate struck back. They didn't attack Jiho's operations. They attacked Zahari. She was leaving her apartment when a van pulled up. 3 men grabbed her, dragged her inside. She screamed, fought, but they were too strong. They drove for 20 minutes, blindfolded her, threw her in a room. When they removed the blindfold, she was in a warehouse. Empty, cold. A man stepped forward, older, sharp suit, the H-Wang boss. Zahari, I've heard a lot about you. She didn't respond. You set a trap for my men. That was clever. It worked. It did, which is why I'm here. He circled her. I want something from you, your donor networks, the international connections Jiho's been using. Give them to me and I'll let you go. I don't have access. Liar. He nodded to one of his men. The man pulled a knife. Let's try again. Before he could move, the door exploded inward. Jiho walked in, flanked by 6 of his men, guns drawn. The H-Wang boss froze. Jiho's eyes were cold, flat, murderous. Let her go. The H-Wang boss hesitated, then nodded. One of his men cut the ropes. Zahari stumbled forward. Jiho caught her, steadied her. You all right? She nodded. He turned back to the H-Wang boss. This is over. You can't. Jiho raised his gun and fired. Once, clean shot, the H-Wang boss dropped. The other men scattered. Jiho's men moved fast, disarming them, restraining them. Jiho pulled Zahari outside, into a waiting car. They drove in silence. She was shaking, adrenaline crashing. "Thank you," she whispered. He didn't respond. When they reached the safe house, he led her inside, sat her down. "You're safe now." "You killed him." "Yes." "Because of me." "No, because he crossed a line." "What line?" He looked at her. "You." Her breath stopped. "I told you I feel protective of you," he said. "I meant it." "Why?" "I don't know, but I do." She stared at him. "What does that mean?" "It means you're mine, and I protect what's mine." She should have been terrified, should have run. Instead, she leaned forward and kissed him. He froze, then kissed her back, hard, possessive. When they pulled apart, she was breathless. "This is a mistake," she said. "Probably." "I don't care." "Neither do I." The next 2 months were different. They didn't talk about what had happened, but everything shifted. Jiho was still her boss, still controlled her work, but now there was something else, something unspoken. He touched her more, casual touches, a hand on her back, fingers brushing hers. She let him. At night, they sat in the safe house reviewing work, but sometimes the work stopped, and they just talked. He told her about his childhood, a mother who tried to make him feel normal, a father who saw him for what he was and didn't care. She told him about her family, a brother who wanted to control her, a mother who missed every red flag. "I don't want to end up like her," Zahari said. "You won't." "How do you know?" "Because you see things clearly. She doesn't." "Do I?" He looked at her. "You see me." "And what do you see when you look at me?" He was quiet, then, "Someone I can't lose." Her heart clenched. She leaned into him. He wrapped an arm around her. They didn't have sex, not yet, but the tension built thick and heavy until it felt like the air might crack. 6 months in, Jiho made a mistake. He underestimated a rival, a minor player he thought was neutralized. The rival attacked, hit 3 of Jiho's properties in one night. Jiho's network took a major hit. He called an emergency meeting. Zahari was there. "We rebuild," Jiho said. "How?" one of his men asked. "We lost half our cash reserves." "Zahari's networks, we use them." She blinked. "Those aren't ready." "They will be." "That's too fast." "We don't have a choice." She stared at him. "You're asking me to risk everything." "Yes." "What if it fails?" "It won't, I trust you." She should have been flattered. Instead, she felt the weight of it, the pressure, the control. And suddenly, she saw it clearly. She was trapped. Not by force, but by need, by attachment, by the fact that she couldn't imagine leaving him. That terrified her more than anything. "I need to think," she said. "We don't have time." "I need to think." He looked at her, jaw tight. "Fine, you have 1 hour." She left. She walked through Seoul, trying to breathe. She'd rebuilt her life under his structure, but it was his asterisk structure, not hers. If she stayed, she'd never be free. If she left, she'd be alone. Both options felt like losing. She returned to the safe house. "I'll do it," she said, "but on my terms." "What terms?" "I rebuild the networks my way. You don't interfere, you trust me." He studied her. "All right." "And after this, I leave." His expression didn't change. "Leave." "I can't stay here. I can't be under your control forever." "You think you're under my control." "Aren't I?" "You chose this." "I chose survival. That's not the same as choice." He stepped closer. "What do you want, Zahari?" "I want to know I can walk away." "Then walk." She stared at him. "What?" "Walk right now. I'm not stopping you." "You'll come after me." "No." "You'll send someone." "No." "Why not?" "Because I don't keep people who don't want to be here." She felt something crack inside her. "You're lying." I'm not. Then why did you save me? Why did you protect me? Because I wanted to, not because I needed to. She couldn't breathe. I don't understand you. I know. Do you care about me? He was quiet, then, yes. Why? I don't know. She wanted to scream, wanted to cry. Instead, she turned and left. She walked out of the safe house, down the stairs, into the night. She didn't look back. She lasted 5 months. She left Seoul, went to Japan, started over. She had money, she'd been smart, skimmed a little from her work with Jiho, enough to survive. She rented a small apartment in Osaka, got a job teaching English, lived quietly. She was safe, independent, free. And she was miserable. She couldn't stop thinking about him. Not because she missed him, but because nothing she did mattered anymore. The work was boring, the people were boring, the whole world felt flat. She'd thought freedom would feel like release. Instead, it felt like emptiness. One night, she sat in her apartment, staring at her phone. She pulled up his number. She didn't call, just stared at it. Then she bought a plane ticket. She arrived in Seoul on a Tuesday. She went to the safe house, climbed the stairs, knocked on the door. Jiho opened it. He looked at her, no surprise, no anger. Just calm. Took you long enough, he said. She wanted to cry, wanted to hit him. Instead, she stepped inside. I'm sorry. For what? For leaving. You had every right to. I know. So why are you back? She looked at him, voice breaking. Because I need this, I need you, and I hate it. He stepped closer. I know. You knew I'd come back. Yes. How? Because I know you, better than you know yourself. She wanted to argue, but he was right. He reached out, cupped her face, gently. You're not trapped, Zahari. You chose this, and you can choose to leave any time. But I won't. I know. She closed her eyes. What does that make me? Mine. She kissed him, hard, desperate. He kissed her back, pulled her inside, kicked the door shut. This time, they didn't stop. If you made it this far, hit that like button. And comment below, do you think she made the right choice coming back? Because I'm still not sure. Subscribe if you want more stories that hurt in the best way.